Hello my sweeties and welcome back to my channel. If you don't already know me, my name is Elise and thank you for joining my spooky little family. In today's video, I want to play a game. Let's talk about Saw X. Let's get into the video.
So spooky. Did I tell you that I was trying, what happened?
I'm sorry, who are you talking to?
You.
Sorry. This is Bimbo Billy the puppet. I don't know who you're talking to, but address me correctly.
I don't care if you're Theodore Roosevelt. I'm trying to tell you about something that happened to my recently.
That was such a random person to choose.
No, because he liked to hunt big game. Anyway, so I have been trying to get into online poker lately. I kind of missed that craze 20 years ago. But I'm trying to get into online poker, and I found something out, and it really is frustrating.
Okay.
Do you know that it's illegal?
What?
Yes, online poker is illegal in like most states in this country.
Yeah, I think I knew that already.
Yeah, do you know why? It's crazy. I was doing some research about it. It's crazy.
I don't know.
So, basically, like, the companies got charged, like, the courts charged them with, like, fraud and stuff. And money laundering. They were making, like, over $1 billion in the 2000s. That's a lot of money.
That's wild.
And, you know, it kind of reminds me of another stupid game that an old man played, which was the Saw games. So, can you tell us a little bit about Saw 10? Saw X? Do we read Roman numerals in the horror community? Is that a thing, or you just call it X? Is that what everybody just says?
I think everybody's just been saying X. Directed by Kevin Gruder, starring Tobin Bell and Shawnee Smith, Saw X follows a sick and desperate John Kramer who travels to Mexico for a risky and experimental medical procedure in hopes of a miracle cure for his cancer, only to discover the entire operation is a scam to defraud the most vulnerable. Wow. So before we get into our overall thoughts on the film, let's talk about the director. So this is the first Saw film with Kevin Gruder as both the director and editor. He did end up directing Saw 6 and Saw 3D. That gem. You know that gem? You know that one that everyone's like, whoa, chef's kiss, Saw 3D. That is right. I actually do think that Saw 6 is actually like an interesting one. It's like the one where John Kramer attacks the insurance companies, like the health insurance companies. So like honestly, serve and slay. And that he always does for us. Like I cannot deny he really is that bitch.
You know, it's easy to take pot shots at this director because of the bad movies he made. But he did a decent job in terms of like just, you know, specifically directing work. I thought he did a good job of working with the actors. I would commend his directing. I think it was passable. Adequate.
Okay.
Fine.
Well, I think that he did a pretty good job directing this film. Saw 6 is pretty well directed. I don't think the issue in this film is really the directing as much as it is the writing later on in the third act. But the directing I thought was pretty solid, and obviously you can tell that he has worked with Tobin before and they have a really good relationship because Tobin served. He served. I've been waiting. I've been craving, waiting for it. I've been waiting for the Tobin Bell single teardrop, and he gave it to me. He gave it to us. Are you kidding?
If I was going to talk about one thing that stuck out to me, it was really Tobin Bell and Shawnee Smith's performances. Both individually and together, their chemistry was amazing. And I think it was really the first time we got to see them really share a moment. I think the couple of moments that we do have with them was really nice. It was really, I don't know, it kind of feels like cathartic after getting teased with their characters and then 17 more movies of nothing.
I agree. Everybody in the film does a really great job. All of our new, fresh faces did really well. This is also the first Saw film to be set in Mexico. I have issues with the fact that Mexico is yellow. I don't know why they think it is necessary to make Mexico yellow. It's not yellow. None of Latin America is yellow. I hate to break it to you guys, but I think that I wasn't expecting too much going in because for those who have been a part of this channel and who have been a part of the Spooky Little family, you know that I was an OG Saw hater. I am proud to be here today and say I am no longer a Saw hater after going on a rewatch of the entire series.
Oh my God, character development.
Wow, I have been forever changed.
Wow, your writing is better than John Kramer's in this movie.
Maybe I should write the next one.
You should. You should write the requel.
If I write the next one, does anyone think Tobin Bell would come back?
I think so.
You think Tobin Bell would be impressed right now with this?
I think that's actually the outfit he pitched for Billy the Kid. Billy the Puppet? Billy the action figure? Whatever the fuck.
Okay, let me go back to what I was saying. So now that I am a part of the Saw fan base, oh my God, I can say that I'm content. I'm content with what I received, though I do feel like, you know, it's 2023. We're doing Saw again. Y'all are like doing this whole big thing. You're bringing back John Kramer. You're giving us, you know, all of the meat we've been wanting. We're getting in his psyche a little bit. And I think they're a little bit scared sometimes. They're a little bit scared to go all the way. I would have liked some more moments, like figuring out what makes John tick. Even though Cornelius is not really obsessed, we do have good news. And the good news is Saw X is currently the highest rated Saw film on Rotten Tomatoes, with its rating today as 87%, which is crazy.
People are impressed very easily, I'll give them that.
This came as not only a surprise to me, but many other people in the horror community, and a lot of fans, because while the other films were a commercial success, they received all negative critical scores, with the highest being the original film with a score of 50%.
Wait, the original Saw has a 50?
It has a 50, which I think I do take issue with because that first film goes so hard. It goes so hard. It goes hard.
That film is a perfect low-budget horror movie.
It is, dare I say, a masterpiece. Dare I say.
I dared you to say it, yes. Okay, so here's the thing. I think the biggest thing that all the Saw films struggle with is, except the first one, all the sequels struggle with, is what the hell do you do with this character? And I think that the first two sequels, because he dies in 3, right? Or 4?
I don't
Whatever.
know.
Anyway, it doesn't matter. Nobody gives a shit. Point is, he dies, right? And then there's like 16 more movies after that. And it's like recordings of him and shit that he planned out. What do you do with this character? I don't even know what you do with him after you show him. I think that's the whole point. The whole point was it was a one-off movie. So for me, I think just already you're on a bad starting off point. Especially because they decided Saw 10, after a whole series of chronological movies, would be in between Saw 1 and 2. And here's the thing. You can't Rogue One
Oh boy.
the Saw movies. It doesn't work. Because the whole point is the tension. There's no tension in the movie.
Okay.
So I think, and I think we agreed on this, right? The first and second act are really solid.
I will say that I had fun with the film overall, but I do think that the first and the second act are the strongest parts of the film.
Dare I say that the first and second acts are the best John Kramer content we've gotten outside of the first movie.
It definitely is, because it is pretty much the only John Kramer content we have gotten throughout this entire franchise. And I like the way they handled it. They handled it with lots of care. I felt like this was actually very emotionally driven. Really like that. There were a lot of, private moments we got with John that I really liked. I really liked how, beat up and tired and old, obviously Tobin Bell is in his 80s, but they made him look so tired, and I love that, and he played it so well, and there were so many moments where I was just like, I'm so sad, I just love him, I'm gonna ignore that he makes reverse bear traps and kills people. I just love him, and I want him to be okay. So I did really love that. We get obviously little bits with, we get a lot with Amanda, but we do get little bits of what she's feeling. So I did really like that. I will say though, the one issue that I really have with Amanda, I don't know whoever was in charge of, the hair and the makeup, but whoever gave this woman this wig, jail. Right away, jail. I mean, did we not have enough money for a good wig? Because there were moments where the camera was facing down on her head and you can tell it's a wig and it's super shiny and hair doesn't look like that. So I have issue, and it did not serve. It didn't serve. Stop it. We love Shawnee Smith. She's a queen. She's a beautiful icon. Not that hair. They Courtney Coxed her. They really Courtney Coxed her in Scream. Before we talk about our issues, I do want to talk about one thing I really liked. One of my favorite scenes with John is a very simple scene, and it is the coffee shop scene. I don't know why that private moment of him ordering the coffee was just so... It hit me.
And you know what a big issue with this movie is, honestly?
What?
Even with those good moments, a lot of those moments were nice. Initially, I think they do a good job of kind of bringing us into his world a little bit. So it makes up for that. But then they're like, oh shit, we got to make this a Saw movie. So then they have to shoehorn this plot in. And for me, I already think that a lot of the vigilanteification of Jigsaw is kind of corny. Going into this one, I kind of want to see how he gets there almost, and I feel like we don't really dive into his psyche. We see him struggling with this thing that we already knew, but we don't really get into his psyche. And I think that's what would have carried the movie and made it interesting. But I'm going to pass it to you. You let me know how you feel.
Okay. Well, there are some things I guess I agree with Cornelius. Like I said, the thing about getting more into his psyche would have been nice. There is definitely a tone change in the third act. I personally didn't mind it. At this point, I've seen all of the films, and I know that this franchise has lots and lots and lots of flaws. And being someone that now I've become a fan, and I was a hater before, I have recognized that I don't love all of the movies, some of them are just bad to me. Specifically 5 is one of the worst I have seen. And they kind of get lost in the sauce, and things get convoluted and crazy and start to not really make any sense. So I feel like I've seen worse, and I feel like this one may be one of the most coherent out of the rest. And while there is that change, I don't mind it. I think that the last act is kind of okay, we were really serious, and now we're gonna bring back the campiness of Saw and kind of give you some funny things.
I want to give a quick shout out to your patron Francis, because I feel like he really worded this really well, and it kind of helped me put my thoughts together. Not just this one, Jigsaw and Spiral and a couple other movies. They just have a fundamental lack of understanding of the character of John Kramer. And I really get that. I really feel that. And I think that because it's such a movie that didn't need to be made, and to be completely honest, like, kind of feels like a cash grab a lot of the time, not understanding the character makes it impossible to really make this movie on a steady foundation. A great example of that is the third act, of not really understanding or being able to nail down who he is. Is he the villain? Is he the hero? Is he an anti-hero?
Wow, a lot of thoughts.
A lot of thoughts. I know, I'm sorry. I'm like really... You know why? Because I liked the movie. I liked it so much. I feel like it could have been so
Are
good.
you sure about that? You seem like a hater.
No, I'm totally a hater. But I liked the movie. I liked the first hour and a half almost.
And then you became a hater.
That's how bad the third act was. We kind of have differing opinions on this movie, right? I think it's safe to say.
Yeah, you're a hater and I'm not.
I'm not a hater. I just
No, I respect your
film.
opinion. I actually understand everything you're saying.
No, I know. And I respect yours as well. I think the things that bothered me were more technical. Like, as a movie, it's enjoyable, it's fun. But I just had those issues. And that's why I gotta ask. What are your final thoughts?
So my final thoughts is, if you are a Saw fan, I do think you're gonna like this movie. I think if you've been really wanting more of John Kramer, you are gonna get it. You are gonna get it. And I love that for us. I think that if you are expecting this to be kind of like the other movies in the franchise, you might be a little bit disappointed. But if you really are a Saw fan and you really, really love John Kramer, then I think it's for you. It definitely was for me, and I had a great time. And with that, I am going to be giving the film 3.5 Levs out of 5.
Wow.
I found it pretty fun. It isn't Saw 1, or just Saw, but I had a good time. I cannot deny.
Yeah, what am I gonna give this movie? I'm gonna give this movie 2 Levs out of 5. As I said, the first 2 acts are strong. I personally could nitpick them, yes, but like, you can nitpick anything, you know, except for The Shining and The Exorcist. But you could nitpick basically anything, right? So for me, I personally liked it. I just think that the third act really took me out. Granted, one of my favorite scenes is actually in the third act, which is Amanda and John sharing a moment. But unfortunately, I just think it's just so messy. And I just don't think that they really gave us what they kind of were acting like they were going to give us. That being said, it's a Saw movie. These movies are silly. They're fun. Go see some people cutting themselves apart. It's fun. All right, it's a fun movie. I just didn't love it as much as I thought it would. But it's definitely one of the better sequels. So I'm saying 2.
Wow. 2, but it's one of the better sequels.
Listen, the bar is in hell. Okay? You know how bad the other movies
No,
are?
I want to know your rankings on the others now.
Well, we're going to do a video about that,
it.
right?
Yes, we'll discuss in our ranking video.
Yes.
Before we end today's video, I do have to ask, what was your favorite trap?
I mean, easily the mask one.
Okay.
I don't even think it's a conversation. I don't even think it's a... What is the other options?
I'm torn between 2 traps in the movie. And no, it's not the eyeball one that everybody was really excited for. I think I'm torn between the bone marrow trap, and I'm torn between that that blood trap that I won't say who's in.
The blood trap, really?
I enjoyed that for some reason. I thought it was pretty cool.
I didn't get it.
Yeah, I didn't understand. I guess you just suffocate.
Just close your mouth and turn your head.
You just drown in blood. There will be blood, am I right?
Jesus. All right.
Am I right?
Tough crowd, Spookies. Tough crowd. That's why I'm the stand-up. And you're the stand-in.
You're not. Speaking about Star Wars for 20 minutes. Alright, you guys, that is it for today's video. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe, as it really helps me a lot. And be sure to click that little notification bell to be up to date every single time I upload. And let me know in the comments, did you enjoy Saw X? Was it for you? Was it not really for you? Tell me your favorite trap. What didn't you like about it? I'd love to talk about it. Thanks so much for watching, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.